In this video we'll be solving the quadratic equation x squared plus 3x minus 18 equals 0. So this is our quadratic equation. First thing we want to find out, the first fact we need to know, is what are the factors of negative 18. So we have negative 18 here. Which two numbers multiply to give us negative 18? And we'll have to find out which two numbers, which are factors of negative 18, would add to give us 3. Alright, so 6 and 3 are factors of 18, right? But for negative 18, we'd have to make one of these factors negative to multiply to give us negative 18. Also, when we add those factors, we'd have to get positive 3 as our answer. So 6 times negative 3 gives us negative 18, right? That's equal to negative 18. And when we add 6 and negative 3, 6 plus negative 3, we get positive 3 as a result. So we can see right here that the two factors of negative 18, which multiplies to give us negative 18 and add to give us positive 3, are 6 and negative 3. Alright? So what we're going to do is to split this middle term, rewrite our equation and split this middle term into those two factors. So we'll have x squared plus 6x. So we're splitting the negative term into the two factors. Minus 3x minus 18 equals 0. Now what we're going to do next is to factorize this equation. So we're going to factorize these two terms first, and then we're going to factorize these other two terms. Alright, and we'll see what we get as a result. So x squared plus 6x, if we factor out the x, we'll have x plus 6 left inside the bracket. Alright, so if we factor out the x, we'll have x plus 6 left inside the bracket. Now our aim is to also factor the negative 3x minus 18 so that we'll have x plus 6, just as what we have here in the first bracket, we'll have x plus 6 in the second bracket. Now if we factor out negative 3, we'll have x plus 18. So we're going to factor out the negative 3. Or divide through the negative 3x minus 18 by 3, and we'll have x plus 6 remaining. inside the bracket. X plus 6. That's x plus 6 remaining inside the bracket. And we could have written it as 6 plus x, but just for consistency we'll write it as x plus 6. Alright, and this is all equal to 0. Now we can be sure that this negative 3 here is a factor of negative 3x plus minus 18. Negative 3x minus 18. How can we be sure? If we multiply the negative 3 by x, we'll get back the negative 3x. And if we multiply negative 3 by 6, we'll also get negative 18 here. So we can see that the negative 3 is a factor of negative 3x minus 18. And when we factor out the negative 3, we have x plus 6 left. Alright? So you can double check your factoring to see if you get back the original expression. Alright? Now that we have done our factoring, we will put the terms that are the same inside the bracket in one bracket here. So the x plus 6 was in one bracket. So we put all the x plus 6 terms as one set of factors here. So the x plus 6 and x plus 6, they are exactly the same, so we rewrite them as one factor here. And then we have what is outside the bracket, which is x minus 3, and we'll rewrite it here as the other factor. And they're both all equal to 0. Now we're gonna complete this factoring by finding our solutions. So we see that x plus 6 is equal to 0 and x minus 3 is also equal to 0, right? So let's set x plus 6 equal to 0. And see what is our result. So x plus 6 is equal to 0. So what is the value of x? To get what x is, we'll have to subtract this plus 6. We'll have to subtract this plus 6, and so we'll have x alone left on the left side of the equation. So we'll subtract minus 6 here. And now we'll have the x alone left. And what we do to one side, we must also do to the other side, right? So we'll subtract 6 from the other side of the equation as well. So 6 minus 6, as you know, leaves nothing. So we'd have x here, just x left there, equal 0 minus 6 is minus 6. So x is equal to minus 6. Now let's get our other solution. So we'll set x minus 3 equal to 0. And if we want this minus 3 here to disappear, we'll have to add 3. So we're doing the opposite of subtraction. We're adding 3 so that we'll have 0 here or nothing here. So x alone will be left on this side, but what you do to one side you must do to the other side. So we'll add 3 to the other side as well, so that the equation remains balanced. So our solution is x and negative 3 plus 3, again will leave nothing, so we'll just put our equal sign there, and we'll have plus 3 here, positive 3. So the positive sign is a given, so we just write the 3 there.